Asparagus is one of those lovely treats that has such a short season, so I like to can up some of my asparagus. Now, canned asparagus, because it's pressure canned, it ends up being very soft. So this is not something that I will pull out of my jar and snack on. That would be the pickled asparagus. I've got a video for that too if you want to take a look at that. Canned asparagus works really well for putting into quiche. It also works well in different kinds of soups like the cream of asparagus soup. The first thing I do is I wash my asparagus, and then I'll take my asparagus and I'll compare it to my jar. I put mine with the tips up, and I want to measure it right at that shoulder. And then I'll cut this one and I'll use it as a guide for cutting all the rest of mine because I don't want any of this woody end on there. I then line up all my asparagus next to the guide asparagus, and then I just cut them to the same length. And I try to keep the same guide asparagus as I'm going, just to make sure that they're all the same. Line them all up, place my guide next to them, and slice through them. It's not too bad as far as prep work for canning goes. I then take a handful of my asparagus and I try to get just about the max of what'll fit in a jar. I want it to be pretty snug because the opening is actually a little bit smaller. And then I shake it on its side so that everything will settle. And I'll sneak a few more asparagus in there. Sometimes you have to do them one at a time. This part can be a little bit more difficult just because I don't want to break the tips off. But I want them all going that same direction. The average is that it takes about 30 spears or 1 pound of asparagus to fill one jar. This recipe is kind of nice because you can do it just for individual jars, but you have to make sure that you do at least 2 jars worth because it's being pressure canned. And safe pressure canning requires that you have at least 2 quarts or 4 pints when you process it. So now I'll add 1 teaspoon of salt to each jar, and then I'll fill it up to 1/2 of an inch of headspace with hot water. Headspace is the space from the top of the food to the top of the jar. I'll then use a wooden chopstick to debubble my jars, and I just do that by running it right along the side of the jar and then down the center. I try to be careful because I don't want to break the tips off of those spears. Generally speaking, with this one, there's not a whole lot of air bubbles in there, but just in case. Then I double check my headspace, it looks good, and I'll use a clean damp cloth to wipe off the rim. And then I place my lids and rings on until they're fingertip tight. To prepare my pressure canner, I'll fill it with 3 quarts of hot water. I'll then place in my jars and I'll lock on my lid. Then I'll process this in my pressure canner for 40 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure if I was at sea level, but I'm at 1,200 feet, so I'll do it at 11 pounds of pressure. Now I'll place this on the stove on high heat until the vent starts to steam. Now that steam's begun coming out of the vent, I'll set my 10-minute timer. Now that it's vented for 10 minutes, I'll place the weight over the top of the vent. At this point, the pressure will start to build, and then I'll have to slowly turn down my temperature. For right now, I'll just drop it down a little bit, so it's still high, but I don't want it to climb so quickly that I shoot way past my mark, because remember, I'm going for 11 pounds. And I want to keep it definitely below 15. The higher the pressure gets, the mushier the vegetable is going to be, and the more leakage that I'm going to get. So I don't want that. I want to stay as close to 11 as possible, but if it drops below 11, that's really bad too, because then I have to completely restart my timer, even if it was almost done. Now that it's at 11 pounds of pressure, I'll set my timer for 40 minutes, and I'll drop my temperature down. This canner does a really good job of maintaining its pressure. They're all just a little bit different. So mine, I'm gonna be able to put it down to like a 2, but everybody's stove is different, everybody's canner's different. The key is going to be just sitting there and kind of fine tuning it back and forth. If you notice it dropping, increase the temperature a little bit. If you notice it getting too high, drop it a little. As you get to know your canner and your stove, it'll become easier. Now that my 40 minutes are done, I'll turn off the heat and let it drop pressure naturally. I won't touch the weight until the pressure is completely gone. Now that my pressure sensor is down and my gauge is down to 0, I know that the pressure is all gone. So I'll remove the weight, and that's kind of a safety feature to take that off first, because if there was any residual pressure in, it would come out of that vent at this point. And then I unlock my lid. You would never want to do that when there was still pressure in there. And when I take it off so that the steam goes away from me, because otherwise I would end up getting steam directly in my face. So I always lift it that direction. And then I let the jars cool for 10 minutes with the lid off. I then remove my jars and place them on a heat-resistant surface. I'll space them usually about 1 to 2 inches apart, just so that they can cool down a little bit faster. And then I'll let them sit for 24 hours. This gives them a chance to get a really good seal. I can tell that they're sealed if the dimple in the center of the lid is depressed down. If it's not, then I put it in the refrigerator and I'll use it right away. If it is though, then I store it in a cool, dry, dark location like my pantry, and I'll use it in the next 1 to 3 years. And these look like perfect little spears, but I would like to point out that they will be quite soft. So they're really only good enough for something like a soup or a quiche where they can be soft or even blended.